will he see his love again? The raven responds, nevermore. It makes him madder and madder with each question. But he keeps asking the questions even though he knows the answer. He says, will I see my beloved in the afterlife? And the raven replies, nevermore. And so this builds a madness in this man while the raven teases him with nevermore, nevermore. And you'll hear that played in the band. You'll hear da-da-da, and that's the nevermore theme. This piece is going to feature a saxophone solo by Lindsay Johannesson. So, once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, enjoy nevermore. is a really fun piece to play. This next one, you'll notice the title of the concert is Marching into Fall. For some reason, as I was selecting music, I kept finding that I was picking marches. Interestingly, I'm not always the biggest fan of marches. I almost don't play a lot of Sousa. So when a march comes along that's different, that's what I tend to attach myself to. I love marches that don't fit the mold of a march. And this next piece definitely doesn't fit the mold of a march. Marche diabolique sounds just like what it means. It's a very kind of slower and spookier march, and you can hear kind of the darkness in it, and it's a super fun piece with a lot of groove. There's a lot of rhythm to it. So we hope you enjoy Marche diabolique, and this is going to feature for solos John Van Dyke on trumpet, flute solos by Chris Sommerfeld and Chelsea Akers. Please enjoy Marche diabolique. I need a water. This next song's got a little introduction. I really like this jumpsuit. In fact, I may start a new fad with conducting where we wear jumpsuits instead of regular suits, because having all these pockets is amazing when you're trying to conduct and get everything with you. So yeah, I'm going to submit a form to the International Conductors Association. I'm sure that's a real thing. This next piece we're going to play for you is one of my absolute favorite symphonic works, written by Hector Berlioz. Symphonie Fantastique is actually two stories in one. There's reality and what happened in real life, and then there's what the music is about, and the two come together in a very interesting way. Hector Berlioz, as a young composer, once went to an opera, and the prima donna at the opera, he fell in love with. Sitting in the audience, he watched her sing, fell madly in love with her. Started writing her letters. They started off kind of cute, and then it got a bit weird. She distanced herself. She said, "Stay away from me. That's pushing his advances down." And he kept trying, and he kept getting rejected. And then what eventually happened is that the anger at being rejected kind of made him sort of decide to write this piece. So he wrote this song, Symphonie Fantastique, and it's about a young artist who falls in love with a singer. That sounds familiar. And in this piece of music, this first movement we're going to play for you, that's going to be a 3-movement work. In between movements, if you haven't been to a concert like this before, you generally do not applaud. You also don't usually announce things, but I'm going to tell you the story as we go through. So in between movements, I will fill you in, because this piece of music is a lot about story. So the artist finds himself in a most diverse situation in life. In the tumult of a festive party, he's looking at the beautiful sights of nature, yet everywhere, all he can keep seeing is his beloved. And it throws his spirit into some confusion and a little angst. You're going to hear the melody of the love, and it sounds, if I may ask Bonnie to play this, it sounds like this. That's her theme. So you'll hear that sort of disguised throughout the whole work. But in this first movement, things are really good. He's in love, and he's at a waltz. And so we hope you enjoy the first movement of Symphonie Fantastique. On with the story. Now's where it gets a bit weird. The artist, spurned by his lover's refusal to meet with him, decides to poison himself with a little bit of opium. The dose, while too weak to cause his death, plunges him into a heavy sleep, accompanied by the strangest of visions. He dreams that he has killed his beloved, that he is condemned and led to the scaffold to be executed. In this movement, you're going to hear him being marched to the scaffold. You're going to hear an uplifting little march, and then he's going to be lifted up into the scaffold, and there's a musical representation of what happens upon a scaffold. You will hear that. And it's you didn't think this was a Halloween concert, did you? Yes. And so this piece of music, a lot of fun. Please enjoy the second movement, March to the Scaffold. Begins with the artist waking up in the afterlife. Caught himself into a little bit of purgatory, and well in the afterlife, he becomes surrounded by all sorts of witches, ghouls, goblins, demons, all sorts of beasties. And leading the procession, and this is important that we remember that Hector Berlioz, the real composer, wrote this song about an actual woman. The queen of the witches ends up being his beloved. Now, Berlioz invited this girl to the premiere of this symphony. She sat and read the program notes. Didn't have her name, but she knew who it was. And with this last movement, the Witch's Sabbath, her theme is kind of twisted and moved around. So imagine you're this singer. You remember who Berlioz was because he has never left you alone. You go to this symphony concert. You see in the program notes, Queen of the Witches, and you know it's you. She married him. She actually did. She ended up marrying him. And then Berlioz found out, once he married her, that in the years since she had been a famous singer, she was no longer a famous singer. It was actually very not as... You never meet your heroes. You know that old saying? Their marriage didn't last long, surprise, surprise. And they were quickly separated after just a short marriage, but still one of the strangest stories in classical music. This last movement is absolutely phenomenal. It's a beautiful, haunting work. You'll recognize the melody, the Dies Irae. It's a melody you hear all the time at Halloween, and so we really hope you enjoy this third movement. And when it's done, raucous applause, please. Thank you very much. Enjoy the last movement. Thank you very much. At this time, I'll take a second, recognize the soloists from that. Chris Sommerfeld on flute, Bonnie Pluce on the clarinet, Morgan Slade Pierce, and then Bonnie again played in the third movement. This next piece, one of my favorite movies to watch this time of year, Tim Burton's kind of everlasting sort of style of movie making. Corpse Bride was a huge success in stop motion animation back in 2004 when it came out. The composer of the music is someone that works a lot with Tim Burton in his movies, a fellow by the name of Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman is a very prolific composer for movies and television. You've definitely heard a lot of Danny Elfman's music. He composed the music for movies like Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, but also TV shows like this short-running show called The Simpsons. He was the one who wrote the theme song for that. So this piece is it's a really fun. It's got all kinds of different styles. It's a haunting, beautiful melody at the beginning. Then we get a little bit of jazz, and then a little bit of everything else. So without further ado, we hope you enjoy our rendition of Corpse Bride. If you've never seen the movie, it's probably the best movie about a guy that accidentally marries a corpse you'll ever see. And I should also mention the soloists: Teddy Reynolds on the trumpet, Shauna Peterson on tenor sax, Lindsay Johannesson on the alto sax, and Ainsley Lotta on the flute. So we've got one more tune before we go into intermission, and before I introduce that, I would like to take just a second and talk about this ensemble. This ensemble is the Lethbridge Community Silver Band, part of the Lethbridge Community Band Society. There are three main ensembles with the LCBS. There's the Lethbridge Community Silver Band. There's the Community Gold Band and the Community Brass Band. The brass band and the gold band and the silver band work together to offer all sorts of levels of music for people looking to dust off their old instruments. Looking around even in this room, see people that I know for a fact used to play. And so if you are finding yourself missing those glory days of being in band, this is your opportunity to relive them. So depending on your level, you can come and try out for the silver, the gold band, and if you play a brass instrument, obviously the brass band. And it is an amazing way to keep music alive in your lives, because as we know, life is always better with more music. So please, if you're interested, come and find myself after the concert, and I can point you in the direction of how to join this wonderful society and help us make music and make Lethbridge a better place. So thank you very much. This next, our last piece, I was gonna do a multimedia thing, and then I was like, wait a minute, people that don't like spiders really don't like spiders. So I decided not to. March of the Arachnids is just a really goofy, fun song written by Randall Standridge. You'll recognize the song, but in case you don't, it's the Itsy Bitsy Spider turned into a very loud and boisterous march. And in the middle, the trio section of the march is Shoe Fly, Don't Bother Me. And then at the end, the two combine. It's so much fun. We hope you enjoy March of the Arachnids. Thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and switch out for the Raymond High School Band. So, where we go sit for the second half, let's just occupy these seats off to the left. No, start with that. We were just tuning. It wasn't a song. But thank you. This poor voice of mine has been through a lot. I got sick a month and a half ago, actually 2 months ago now, and it's still just, my voice is healing so slowly. So if you're wondering, no, I don't carry anything plague-like anymore. It just sounds like it. Welcome back to the second half. The band that's on stage right now, just call it nepotism. I don't know. I just thought I would invite my own high school band out for the concert, so why not? This is the Raymond High School Band. Out in Raymond, we start band in grade 7. We go from 7 to 12. We currently have 2 high school bands. We call this one the high school band, and it's mostly 9s, 10s. There's some 11s and 12s. It's our intermediate level band, and so it gives the older students an opportunity to pick up a second instrument or even a third one, and a good place for development from the grade 9s who are getting up into the high school years. So this is a perfect ensemble to bring to a concert, because next week we're going on tour, right? Yeah. We're going to go play some concerts all over the Westwind School Division, out to Cardston and McGrath, and then in Raymond, and we're going to play some of this Halloween music we got for you. So we're going to start with one of our favorite tunes that we've learned so far this year. You might recognize it, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Thank you very much. This next piece we're going to play for you is called The Mad Scientist, and it's about a mad scientist. Instead of, normally when we rehearse music, it'll tell you like, oh, measure 14 or measure 15 in the music. This one has cute little names. So let's see here. Well, the first one is just bar 1, I guess. We get to one part where it gets really quiet. It's called Potions. And then it gets faster. You'll notice that. Then there's a section called The Laser. Aiming at the moon. It's alive. And has feelings. And then the chase to the lab. And then the end. So we hope you enjoy this story of Frankenstein's monster, the mad scientist. Thank you very much. Our next piece is a really fun song from the movie The Incredibles called The Incredibles. So if you've seen this Pixar movie, apparently they're making another one. There's a third one coming out. I hope it's different because the second one was just the first one again, just slightly different. So here's hoping. I don't know. It's a really fun piece, and it's got some jazz and some spy movie stuff. So we hope you enjoy Pixar's The Incredibles. The RHS Band has one more piece we're going to play for you, and we're going to have the Silver Band join us on this one. This song is called Skeletonic, and it's meant to sound like a song played by skeletons. So you'll hear lots of xylophone and plinkier sounds, lots of brass, because it's spooky Halloween goodness. Don't know what else to say to introduce this one, other than it's a whole lot of fun. So I'm going to try to conduct two bands at once. Wish me luck. We just need 2 very quick seconds, and we'll get the Silver Band up here to play the last couple numbers of the evening. Thank you very much. Beautiful piece of music called At Twilight. When I was trying to program this concert, initially I was trying to find things that had more to do with the fall than Halloween, but that's really hard to do, and there aren't a lot of pieces for band. But I did manage to find something that, at least twilight is the evening time. This song is just written about the desire to relax every now and again and enjoy the beautiful things in life, like sitting down and watching twilight and watching the evening come, or the morning, or whatever. And I felt like it was a fitting piece for this particular concert. So we hope you enjoy Tyler S. Grant's incredibly beautiful work, At Twilight. On that piece, we did have a solo from Rhiannon Humany on trumpet. Before we go to our finale, the grand finale of the evening, I'd just like to give a huge shout out and a huge thanks to all the people that volunteer their time and energy for the Community Band Foundation and to help Community Band Society to help us put on these kinds of concerts. So we've got people like Corey in the back, and Renee is right there driving us all over the place, and so many others. I can't even name people in the band who are in charge of music, people that help me do everything all the time, because trust me, it's a full-time job to keep this all together. So let's give a big round of applause to all those people that help make these nights so good. And also a huge thank you to the College Drive Community Church. It's a wonderful venue to play in. I love playing in here. The acoustics are so wonderful. So another big round of applause for the venue. Thank you so much. So earlier I talked a little bit about Danny Elfman, and this is a piece that pays tribute to some of his most well-known scores for movies. So let me see this. You'll recognize, perhaps, if you're my age, Tales from the Crypt, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands. That is a movie that, I love that movie, but it's kind of fallen into obscurity a little bit. Of course, and then Beetlejuice, which the new one came out, so I thought, oh, that'd be a great time to do this piece. So thank you very much for coming out and sharing in an evening of music with the Community Silver Band and the Raymond High School Band. Have a wonderful evening and a safe and happy Halloween. just feels like something more needs to be said. I have nothing else to say. I will say this, just a little philosophy for you. Those of you that are like, I want to do that. I want to join this band. It looks fun. But I'm not good enough. What we do with music is not about perfection. Our society has, for some reason, adapted this notion that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. I have so many people I run into who are like, I'm too old to start playing guitar. No, you're not. You're never too old to pick up a musical instrument. Start learning to play it. There's plenty of places for you to play, plenty of people willing to listen. Don't be afraid to try something new. So if you are curious about joining the Silver Band, I'll be around for the next little bit. But thank you all very much. Happy Halloween.